Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast.
Welcome back to the lounge, and here we are live. Well, not live, but in your past, in our future. Wait, time traveling is so
hard,
difficult.
yeah.
It's so difficult.
You gotta make notes and
Yes, but here we are after last week when we replayed the
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law. Yes, you've been talking about that one, so it's good to get it back in the flow.
Yeah, and thanks for letting me take that week off. This month has just been so crazy, Dave.
I know. Everything is like spring and everything's coming back together. Yeah, because actually today I was going to bring Mikey T back in and whatever, but I think
Kurt Cobain Part 2.
Yeah, no. But I think he has the brown bottle flu, if you know what I mean. Yes.
Hey, that's all right.
But it's just two guys chilling in the lounge.
It's just two guys talking and being here.
Yeah, being present.
Yeah, even though it hasn't happened yet, I definitely had a great time at Torque Fest.
Oh, yeah?
It was so fun. I
So
saw all
fun.
my friends. Great bands.
Yeah. Are
cool
you
cars.
working the gate again?
Yeah, I'll work the gate again.
Okay.
Yeah. It's nice to have a job, especially when I'm not just getting tanked all day.
Right, yeah, to have like a purpose. What's this?
Oh, I got you a little gifty gift.
You got me a
Got
gifty
you a
gift.
thing. Open that up.
Okay. It seems heavy. So you actually wrapped it.
It's very expensive.
It seems expensive. There's all these like Beetlejuice wrapping.
It came from my wife's shop, so.
Okay. Oh shit! Oh, look at that! It's Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast. Congrats for 100 episodes. Coffee mug and a bunch of fucking stickers that I can stick around
To
town.
make sure you don't spend money on it, because I got a bajillion of them.
Oh, I was going to do this because anytime I'm out and about, I'm like, I want to put a sticker on that, and then I'm like, I don't have any in my car. Now I have a bunch and a coffee mug.
Yeah.
This is great. I will use this all the time because I actually do drink coffee.
I actually do
I
drink
actually do. That's fucking
my mother-in-law made that.
yeah.
And it's called sublimation, but like
Okay.
the print on there is really good.
Yeah.
And like pick it up by the handle. Like it's 4 fingers, dude.
Yeah, it's got to go to heft. Like I don't have to keep my pinky out like I'm
Yes.
British or something.
What I find, I was in a bike accident on the Arsenal Bridge.
Oh,
And
really?
Yeah, some kid. I was riding my bike. The lane, the walking and biking lane is pretty thin.
Yeah.
And I was pedaling on the right side, and
Yeah.
a bunch of college kids were running on the left side. Some fucking kid jumps out into my lane,
Yeah.
and then tries to like get by me and some other guys. Clips my handlebar, and like my fingers went into the grate.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it totally like pulled something. So like having that 4th finger outside of a smaller coffee mug,
Yeah.
it like actually kind of hurts to keep it in that position too long. And like also like with my phone, if I hold my pinky at the bottom,
Yeah.
it starts to get really exhausting for like
Okay.
my wrist. And I have a couple of other mugs like that, and
Yes.
and I want to get some other personalized mugs. I have a couple
Right.
of
Yeah, they're very what's that?
ergonomic.
Ergonomic. Yes.
And
Yes.
they're a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and I like it because I can get like at least 2 cups of my regular
Yes.
cups. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple of those smaller like 3-finger mugs, and I don't want to have a ton of mugs, but I can replace those and then have all 4-finger mugs.
Yeah,
that'll be perfect.
That'd be nice because I've seen the 3-finger pinch where it's a thumb in the first, and then you're like just trying
For like
to,
an espresso or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like some French thing.
Oh, this is cool as fuck. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm cussing right away. But
Hey, that's all right. It's exciting.
yeah.
I can't believe we got to 100 episodes. And
Yeah.
Now I know this is 104, I think.
I think so.
I don't know if I guess I don't know if we recount I counted Murphy's Law as 103.
Yeah. I think next one we might be celebrating 4 years.
4 years? Gosh,
Yes.
dang, we'll have to come up with something good. Hey, if you guys got any ideas for anything to do for 4 more years,
Yes.
let us know in the comments or the website or the Facebook page, facebook.com/BRLP
Blurp. Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast.
FB. BRLP FB. Because you have to have 6 letters in it.
Okay.
And I didn't want to type out fucking Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, it's been so crazy around here.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because we just had Easter not too long ago, and with all that and everything, yeah, it was kind of hard to get
everything.
And we were like trying to like match up and find a time to play, or like not play, but like do the podcast, get down in the lounge and do some time traveling. And and we were gonna do it actually like a late night, like Blue Ribbon Lounge after dark. But then you were like, actually, Dave, can we just redo that? And I'm like, actually, that works too.
Yeah. It was pretty nice to just take a week off. But yeah, like I've been doing all sorts of projects. The wife's been out of town. The wife went out of town to Viva Las Vegas. It's a big
Viva Las Vegas, Elvis and shit.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
It's a big. Did you have some coffee on the way over here?
I did.
18 espressos.
Yeah, I made coffee. I had like half a pint. It's Sunday morning, man, and we're supposed to be down here like just two guys chilling in the lounge, time traveling.
This is funny. I usually get you right after work.
I know, and I'm like half asleep and shit.
But it's a big like vintage. You kind of got to call it a vintage lifestyle event because it's like a music festival kind of.
Okay.
But then there's a ton of shops, and then there's a car show, and there's like pinup contests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so she's out there, and I was like, all right, great. You know, I get off of work. I'll have a couple extra hours that would normally be wife couch time, which is great. But, you know, I'm going to try to utilize that. And then it's just like, this pops up. This
project and that project.
You know, like you said, it's spring. I got to mow now. And
yeah, I have not. I hear them going off, and it like affects my dad brain, like your lizard brain. You're like, oh, I hear a mower. And then I'm like, I should mow. But my yard, I think I've talked about this before, where it's like the dandelion central.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, butterflies and bugs and stuff, and it's April. I'm probably gonna try to wait till May to mow. Dude. Yeah.
Oh, well, you got 2 days?
Yeah, 2 days until it's April.
Like that.
Yeah, or May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're going to. So I had a great time at Torque Fest.
Yeah.
I made a sign for it. So it's like, it's right behind you. But I had to take it apart because I was staining it. But it's like a vintage looking like burger or movie theater sign, like a neon would be, like with the big arrow.
Okay.
And then it's got like a border around it. And then it's a stamped metal sign. So they just put the metal in the machine, and it stamps out this arrow and like the kind of offset rectangle. And I took that and I traced it all out, and I was taking measurements to find the widths, and so I cut it into 3 pieces.
Okay.
And made it like a 3-dimensional wooden sign.
Nice.
And then I found some letters from the hobby store and I'm going to spell out Camp Torque on it.
Okay.
Because Torque Fest, and a lot of people are into the vintage camping. So I got the idea from my wife. She did like a vinyl wrap and made the last year's sign look like a state park sign.
Okay.
And so that's kind of what I was going for. So it's like,
but more like the drive-in feel.
Well, that's just the shape, you know.
Yeah.
But I was that like wood, and then like I painted the letters yellow. I feel like that's kind of a traditional state park color. And I'm really excited to put that together. And so I cut all these pieces out, and then I traced them onto another piece of wood, so I still have like the template.
Oh, okay.
And so and then the package of letters came in 4s.
Yeah.
And none of them are repetitive, so I got 4 signs that say Camp Torque.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, maybe I'll just make 3 more and then take them every year, once a year.
Yeah.
Paint them different colors.
Some different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. You're very arts and crafts.
Yeah, I was thinking about it on the way out. I ran to the hardware store before you came over, and I was like, and I was talking to another guy who's like really good at music.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just not willing to call myself an artist for some reason.
That's silly because I look around this lounge that we're time traveling through, and like I said, you're very arts and crafts, and that's one of the things that I like about you. Is that you're very creative and open, and like just try shit out and figure stuff out, and it's cool because you make a lot of really good art, I'm not trying to like build you up, but like,
hey.
I mean, yeah, but like your Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right wheel, and the Mermaid, and your signs, and just how you have your whole place decorated. Like, nah, I would say that you're an artist, dude.
Yeah, and part of that is I need to come to grips with that because like I was talking to a guy who's really good at music, and I'm like that old saying, jack of all trades, but then
master of none.
Yeah. But then they say there's more than that. It's like better than being a master of none.
Yeah.
And it's very much like I'm broke, so if my toilet breaks, I gotta fix it.
Yeah.
If my car's broke down, I like to take at least a look at it first.
Yeah. No, I get that.
And so, and like, I'm not a guy who can like throw in a window perfectly in 30 minutes or nothing.
Right.
But I put in a couple of windows last year.
But you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before I really started working with my hands as much, I still had the Blue Ribbon Lounge.
Yeah.
And I was more of like a curator.
Oh, like a producer, like you are now. You produce the Blue Ribbon Lounge, and you help out with the Blackmagic TV and all that.
Yeah.
So, do you do the shorts for it, or is that
Tyler?
Yeah,
I
thought it was Tyler.
The High Lord. Yeah, he does it. He uses this app called Opus.
Okay.
Opus AI.
Because I know when we did car conspiracies with him, it was Discord.
So we record over Discord.
Okay. But then he has like
it's a separate app.
All right.
That you take a YouTube video link.
Yeah.
And put it into this app, and then Opus AI cuts it into however many like 30-second shorts.
So it's AI.
Yeah.
Oh no! What? I thought he did all himself, but now there's just a computer brain.
No,
the Blackmagic wizard computer brain.
Well, and like he's a car body guy.
Yeah.
So he works a 40-hour job, and a lot of times he makes it sound like he works like 50 hours, and then he just started this print studio.
Oh yeah,
and he's been so busy with that.
Yeah.
And then he's,
like they do T-shirts and stuff. Is it like screen printing?
Yeah, screen printing.
Yeah.
And then he just bought a house, and he's got a kid, 14, I think, and he's trying to do this Blackmagic Live.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dog, like.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've watched a couple, and they're good.
They're all right.
You have a whole ass wizard.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like Gandalf the young years.
Yeah, the ornery magi.
Yeah.
He's a fucking trip. He's hella racist against humans, but anyways.
Yeah. No, but it's cool because I watch it because it also kind of seems like you kind of keep them on track a little bit.
Yeah, I try to, and I think it's so new we haven't really found a groove.
Yeah.
Like we come in here. Well, we used to come in here and we had ideas for each episode as a whole,
right?
And then now this new format is kind of more like we just kind of we bring what we plan.
Yeah. But stuff that piques your interest and you can pluck from, and not just stick to the history of Barbie, and it's like I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
But then you find something that piques your interest.
Yeah,
bring
it's
it in
more like potpourri episodes now.
Yeah.
For now, and on Blackmagic TV, we it's like no planning for the first hour.
Yeah, and
then I usually try to have a game for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
And it's usually around pop culture because Tyler fucking is pretty good at like get TV or movie trivia and music trivia.
Okay.
He has a great mind for that.
Yeah.
And then we answer listener questions at the end.
Yes. Shout out to Brad Smith and his Who's the Best comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I was like, Ari Shaffir, but he's like Theo Von or...
I thought those three were such wild picks.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if he's just like in a real groove with them now or if he likes them or what, but those are such like Theo Von is the most like realistic pick I felt out of that.
Yeah, but he's also goofy or crazy because he'll be like, my vice principal was a raccoon. And it's like, was he really? It's like, yeah, dog. Yeah, he was. We used to have to feed him carrots in the morning just to get past them.
And he has great word choice. Like, he'll be talking about, like, I was recording that podcast, talking into that magic box, like he describes things in ways that you can understand, but like totally out there.
Yeah. And that's cool because
but also he's crazy. I feel like lately I've been feeling like he has no convictions.
Yeah, but that's also kind of nice. I mean, because like he'll have different people on.
Well,
but he also asks weird questions.
Yeah, which I do like.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the one with Donald Trump.
Oh,
and
hiss.
Well,
I got to say it for half of our audience.
No, I totally agree with that. Like,
yeah.
I'm not down with the orange clown at all.
Okay.
But I liked the fact that Theo Von talked to him about he talked to him about his brother's drinking. His brother was Donald Trump's brother was an alcoholic.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know Donald Trump had a brother.
Yeah. but it's like I don't like that he did platform him.
Yeah.
And it gave a lot of people who are either maybe too young to have like a world belief, or people who just have decided not to have a world belief. But then you're bringing this guy on, and on one hand it's like he talked about a bunch of stuff that did make him look human.
Yeah.
But that's not like the real I feel like the real Donald Trump is the business guy.
Yeah. And it seems like he's
I think people could say the opposite, but I disagree with that.
No, and I get that because another polarizing person would be like Joe Rogan. And he gave a platform for Elon Musk and RFK Jr. And he also had Donald Trump on. And when you listen to the episodes and he makes them human, like his Elon Musk one, Elon Musk took like one hit of weed. And like, yeah. And then RFK Jr. and he was talking about how he had a vaccine and that's why his throat's fucked up, and humanizes them. And you're like, okay, I feel, and I can not the Donald Trump so much. I didn't listen to that one because
I don't have time for all these 3-hour podcasts.
Exactly, but when they humanize them and then make them, you relate to them, and you're like, okay, well, I can actually see kind of where they're coming from, but then they just go way off into left field, and you're like, my old lady actually had like a free speech T-shirt that had RFK Jr. on it, like. I bought it for her because she was really into him when he was running for president. And then he just like flip-flopped.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and then she was like, I don't even want to wear this T-shirt anymore. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I get it, but I'm over here like, I voted for Jill Stein, so.
Like, well, and that was the thing, too. I really liked RFK for a while. And then he just like, I felt like we wanted the same things, but he wasn't going to go about them the same way. And that's how I feel about a lot of I don't have a lot of relatives that are conservative or friends that are conservative, but I have some very close ones that are conservative. And I feel like we both want what we think is best for the world. We want people to be okay. Yeah. But it's like, why are you talking about immigrants? And why are you talking about trans people when, like, I make pretty good money? I'm still fucking broke in the Midwest.
The big picture of it. Yeah, it's still broke. And and that's kind of also the thing where it's like, because I was in the military, and
you don't say.
Yeah, and I can be very patriotic about it. I literally have the Declaration of Independence hanging on my wall. Because
really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because it's like tyrannical government. If they want to taxation without representation and all this stuff, it is the people's right to rage against your government, stand up and rebel against the government. And then, and also the Constitution. It's Sunday morning. Let's crack this bottle open. Like this can of worms. And the Constitution, and even though our founding fathers, and when people look back onto them, they're like slave owners and slave teeth in their head and all this stuff. But then the fact that they made a constitution that was able to be changed because they understood that they were just men and they were fallible, and the things that they believe in right now might not be the things that we believe in later. So they made the Constitution able to be changed through bills of rights and things like that. That is pretty cool. And the fact that they stood up to a whole ass big tyrannical king government and got all the good old boys on their side, because they were also like, hey, we're on the same side. This is our country. We do this. And to have that, and then have that as the basis of where we come on. And I know that the pillars of the United States are kind of built on genocide and slavery and shit like that, and that's
and are
horrible.
Bad.
Are bad, yeah.
A couple of white guys sitting here doing the podcast are bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry.
But the fact that they tried to make a land of the free, home of the brave, and they were doing the best they could in their time, and so that's kind of cool. And there is aspects of those people that you can look up to. It's kind of like don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
You know, and so that makes me very patriotic towards America, because where we came from, and seeing the American flag and knowing all the vets and like clapping when they come back, you know, the vet flights did fly them out to Washington DC and stuff, and they come back, and I'm like, support our troops. But murder, chaos, genocide, I don't like all that. And then when there's an orange guy in power that seems to be kind of just taking that and corrupting it, then I feel bad. And then I feel bad kind of sometimes to be an American. I'm just rambling here.
Hey, that's
You're just
right.
staring at me. But yeah, so you know, like, you want to be patriotic and you want to be like, yeah, America, but then also I think I'm a person of the world, and that my religion is love.
Are you stoned right now, Dave?
I'm not stoned right now. I got up early. I drank a bunch of coffee. Like, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Like,
all right.
yeah, no. And I know I'm rambling, but I know I was going to do this podcast, so I was coming in hot and literally had like a pot of coffee.
Yeah, because it's the same way with me. Like, I'm not a world traveler by any means. I've lived in this small town forever.
Yeah.
But you know, I did not like myself for a long time. Like, I hated myself for a long time. And there was a point where I wanted to kill myself, and all I did was like read books and listen to podcasts and go to therapy, trying to change whatever it was that I didn't like about myself.
Yeah.
And realistically, it took AA to help me stop drinking.
Yeah.
And then I was like clear-headed enough to be able to do those things. And then AA also helped me like form a like a, not necessarily like a structure, or like a what's it called when you like do repetitive things, like
a routine.
A routine for it.
Yeah.
And it's like going through all that process, like between like religious prayer.
Yeah.
You know, you also have like other religions do meditation.
Yeah.
You also have like Wiccan type things do like manifestation.
Yeah.
And like I saw just a lot of things that were similar and it was just different words.
Yeah.
You know, and once you've done enough mushrooms, man, you can see that we're all connected.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole philosophy where there's like a Buddhist thing where it's like one finger pointing at the sky, and then because you're not the finger and you're not the sky, but you're kind of all of it. Because if you think about it, like say you're driving in traffic and someone cuts you off and you're like, and you get grumpy and you yell at those people. But then you have to think about, like, if you were that person and you were born to those parents and you had those experiences and that life, you would not be like, oh, I would do it totally different. Like, no, you would probably do the same thing that those people are doing, because that's what led up to them being where they are now.
Yeah, it's like, you've never cut anybody off before,
right?
In traffic, you've never, like, even at best, maybe it's like you never did it on purpose, but like this guy's just like considering you so much. He's going to fuck up your day by cutting you off in traffic.
Exactly.
Like, you have to learn to let those things go.
Yeah, because a lot of the times, like, when you're in your car, do you think about all the 5 other cars that are around you and the people that are in them and what kind of people they are? Or are you just thinking about yourself trying to get across the fucking I-74 bridge?
Yeah. I mean, somebody's family could be in the hospital. You know? Who knows?
Yeah.
But realistically, it's none of your business. And it lasted, as long as, they didn't cut you off and get into a major accident where you're hospitalized.
Right.
It lasted 5 seconds.
Yeah. But
just turn up that Taylor Swift on the radio.
Taylor Swift, shake it off. Yeah.
Yeah, shake it off. Hey, that's a full turn.
All right. Yeah, so welcome down to the lounge. We're doing this Sunday morning chats with Dave and Matt.
With the Dave and Matt experience.
Yes, that was our working title. Actually, no, it's always been the Blue Ribbon Lounge because that's where we are.
The one thing I got to give you a little work to do, Dave. You had it easy last week.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have Davey post this video on the Facebook. But I come across this Cocoa Puffs conspiracy.
Cocoa Puffs.
So
shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Puff.
Listen
shimmy,
to me
shimmy,
now.
no.
I am on the podcast, coming to you loud. Okay.
Hey.
But so it's like this conspiracy, and I'll put the video. I don't want to do it justice because like the guy I watched had like video clips and stuff like that, and he did a really good job. I should have maybe put his name in here, but I didn't.
Okay, that's all right.
But it's all about like within the context of the commercials.
Yeah,
Cocoa Puffs are like a crazy like.
Oh wait,
like
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, the bird is like crazy addicted to these Cocoa Puffs, and he's like trying not to take the next hit.
Yeah,
but then other people are like, what do you want? What's wrong with Cocoa Puffs? They're munchy, crunchy.
Oh, okay. They're trying
delicious.
To like entice them with the Cocoa Puffs.
And then like it gets kind of deeper to where they're at one point everybody likes Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
And it's a whole bird world.
Right.
Like there's a bird like military guy.
Yeah.
And there's like a bird newspaper boy.
All right.
And there's like a bird judge. Like they created a whole
like bird world.
Yeah. And so there's one commercial where they're like, it's like Cocoa Puffs chocolate vanilla explosion, and the commercial is like 2 giant Cocoa Puff meteorites like exploding and raining down on the city. And it's almost like an apocalyptic event.
Right.
And then there was another one where like the bird was on trial.
All right. And for all his antics trying to get Cocoa Puffs?
Yeah, something like that. And then the judge was his grandpa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, that seems like a conflict of interest.
Right.
And then there was the last kind of like thing towards the end was like they were doing experiments on the bird.
Oh, like x-raying his head and stuff, right?
Maybe. And like it was like very MK Ultra-y.
Yeah.
And and so like the whole conspiracy comes around to like he's like a sleeper cell agent infiltrating the bird world, and like the munchy bunchy crunchy cocoa
munchy bunchy crunchy.
Yeah, the words that they say for the cereal is like his trigger words and shit. It was fucking wild, dude.
That is wild.
It was so wild.
That's crazy. That seems like the Trix Rabbit is a little tamer version of that.
Yeah, or like the Leprechaun.
Well,
yeah. Oh, the Trix Rabbit. Yeah,
the Trix Rabbit is trying to trick the kids, and like Silly Rabbit's tricks are for kids. But at the end, like an apple falls on him or a house, and he pops up, and there's
Very
birds
Looney
flying around him.
Tunes.
But do they give him the cereal at the end?
I don't think
Or do
so.
they keep?
I think they keep it
from him. Okay, because in the
I
Leprechaun,
watch something.
I
think it'll come through the
microphones.
Yeah, but not the
like the audio
recording. Yeah. Because I don't know. I don't want to get fucking busted or nothing.
Right, and then
get one of our very high rated videos taken down, and then
you never know. All you just need one is to go crazy. But what? Lucky Charms. It's the opposite because
he's giving them to him.
No, he's trying to keep them away, and the kids are trying to chase down. You'll never get me Lucky Charms, which is very like Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I didn't do this right.
No.
Oh well.
All right.
Yeah. I feel like the leprechaun's trying to give.
Oh, I thought he was like trying to keep them away from the kids. Where Coco the cuckoo and Trix Rabbit, they're trying to steal. Yeah, they're trying to steal the cereal. Where
not that.
Lucky the leprechaun.
They take the tricks from the rabbit, man. That's not very cool.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, like the leprechaun is trying to keep the cereal from the kids. But that makes sense because, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
He makes them with rainbow magic.
Okay.
So there's so many different types of mushrooms. Marshmallows.
Marshmallows.
And all the kids wanted the marshmallows for sure, sugary. He gives them to them.
Okay, well, this one, yeah. But I always thought they were like, you'll never get me Lucky Charms was like a thing.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, it's
right there. The fourth one down.
Yeah, it's a Google, or not a YouTube answer already.
Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, he's getting away.
Yeah, that's when they started with the red balloons.
Oh, shooting star, red balloon, turtles.
I don't think turtles is a mushroom or marshmallow. You got me saying it too.
I went mushroom hunting yesterday.
Oh yeah,
it was really fun.
Did you find any?
Yeah, we found probably like 7. I found 3 of them.
All right,
and they're like all 3 of them kind of were the size of my. Not all 3 of them were the size of my hand, but the 3 of them filled up my hand.
Oh, okay.
Like, they were pretty big.
Yeah.
We found one that was the size of my hand.
Okay.
I didn't find that one, but it was humongous.
Yeah. I feel like it's harder to find them nowadays, or just more people with the internet. More people are out there looking for them. Maybe.
For me.
Yeah.
I was telling a guy this. For me, it's like. When I was a kid, I felt like I was so good at finding them.
Yeah.
I was like walking around. Maybe it was because I was a little closer to Earth.
He's smaller in stature.
But what I come to realize, it was like I was always hunting with my mom and my grandpa.
Okay.
And they're like, maybe you should check over there.
Yeah.
And it's like, they were pointing me to all the mushrooms so I could find them. That was great.
Right.
And then I feel like I never really like learned what to look for. It's like a fallen elm.
Yeah,
and like a hill that faces a certain direction.
North.
North.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just haven't done it in a long time.
Right. No, and the last 2 times I've done it, I think I've went later in the season.
Yeah,
where it's already
like right
picked
now.
over. Yeah.
Or I think they don't last very long. When we were looking, we had found we found like 7, and we also found like 4 stumps that like the deer had eaten them.
Oh, okay. Well, I always feel like maybe some people have ripped those off. Like people have been there.
This was on private ground.
Oh, okay.
So for sure
that
helps.
Anybody
else.
Yeah. Because just trying to figure out where to go and try to get them. Like,
yeah, but there's deers in park and stuff.
Yeah, and they probably like mushrooms.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then do you do it like butter and like batter them?
I batter them in just flour, yeah.
Yeah, fry them up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like that little like kind of textury crispiness of the outside.
Yeah, and they're really good. I feel like you have to eat them right away.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you just like fry them up, and as you're pulling them out of the pan,
pull them out of the pan and put them right in your mouth?
Well, you put them on like a paper towel, and then
soak
you
up
like
that oil.
Yeah, eat them as they go, because you don't want to like cook them and then wait half an hour or something.
Yeah, I got a couple of cousins, man. They're fucking. I don't know if it's just like a really big hobby for them, or what, but they find fucking grocery bags full.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
tons, man.
Yeah,
and they got spots and stuff, but yeah, when you only get, like a handful, it's really only good enough for like that day.
Yeah, you have a little snack. Yeah. It's like a thing.
Which is also kind of a fun thing about it. Like if I could go to the store and get them, well, I probably would still do that, but I don't think it'd be so fun.
Not the same situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever heard about the Ramri Island? It's outside of Burma, which is now, I think, Myanmar, which is southern Asia.
Okay.
There's
a lot of islands there. I mean, you could say that for just about anything. I believe you.
Yeah. But the one thing.
And what's it called now?
I don't know.
It's called now Myanmar.
Yeah. Which used to be Burma, which is like right around like Vietnam and all that stuff.
Okay.
Maybe Cambodia, that area.
I was going to take a holiday in Cambodia.
Oh, yeah. With the dead Kennedys.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the one thing that I did bring that like I looked up was during World War II, the Japanese actually took over that island because they were doing the whole campaign and thing, and it was a British island before, like colonialism and stuff, and they got kicked out, and then the British came back and were like fighting them to regain control of the island, and it was like 6 weeks of fighting, and then they finally were starting to get the upper hand over the Japanese. The British were, and the Japanese, there was like 2,000 troops, and they got split up, so like 1,000 went one way and 1,000 went the other way. And the British were trying to get the one side that got left behind to like surrender, and they decided that instead they would like evacuate and go through this swamp to get out. But there were a bunch of saltwater crocodiles that lived in this swamp.
Okay.
And a lot of the people they were also didn't have a lot of supplies, and some of them were wounded, and so they're trying to drag all these people through the swamp and get away. And then not only were they affected by like snakes and scorpions and the oppressive heat of the like tropical kind of area, they also got attacked by crocodiles. And supposedly it was like 400 of them just got mauled by the crocodiles that lived on the island.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's reportedly like the biggest crocodile attack ever.
They should have fucking had Steve Irwin over there fucking those guys up.
Yeah, and the British saw them retreating, and instead of following them into the swamp, they kind of set up a perimeter, and they said at night they heard like screams and gunfire, and just like, that's
the second worst part of that scenario.
Yeah, and then like the next day they captured like 20 of these Japanese people, and they were like, oh, thank you, because it was like horrible and like seeing their friends getting smashed and whatever, or like chomped up.
I just imagine like a crocodile like chomping guys in half and shit. Like,
yeah, and the fact that they have like a meat locker, so they will grab you and take you down and do a death roll and then stick you under a log or something.
Whoa, I don't know if I knew that. I knew about the death rolls, but
yeah, they'll stick you somewhere because they wait till you get all like bloated and gross, and then because they just have teeth. They don't have like grinding incisors or anything like that.
Okay.
So when you get soggy, then they can come just take a bite off you. Wow. Yeah, and so then they don't know how many people actually died, but they figure like most of the bodies probably got drugged down and stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
So they weren't going to find them.
Yeah. Like that kind of thing, like with the crocodiles. See, that like really makes me feel spiritual. Like I see it as not necessarily like obviously you call it science and it's like evolution and stuff like that. But like for all those things to be happening and the crocodile to like, I'm assuming under like an underwater log, it's colder, and so your meat stays at least still a little fresh,
right?
But then like the bacteria gets in there and softens you up for them and stuff. Like that kind of stuff is just like kind of magical to me.
Magical.
Like science is also magic, I think.
Yeah, well, that's
not to get back on that subject, but
no,
it's just so crazy how everything works so harmoniously, and we're here pumping fucking gas into the atmosphere.
Right. Well, that's one of those things where not to get spiritual or whatever, because you believe whatever you want to believe, and I'm really for all nature, and I'm more Buddhist, like treat everyone as you want to be treated, and if you had the same experiences that they have, you'd probably be the same person, so you should give them a lenience that you would want them to give you. But it's also the same thing where it's like, okay, well, there's grass that grows out of the ground from dirt, and
it starts out as like a little hard ball.
Yeah, some seeds that grow into grass. And then this animal that just eats grass comes and grazes on it. But yet, for some reason, it's also like the tastiest steak you're ever going to have. And they get so big just by eating grass. And then you eat that, and then you become grass. But then also, like, chickens, like, vegetarians and all that aside, everybody loves chickens, and chickens are everywhere, and chickens can't fly, and they're kind of easy to catch, and they're just there. Like, here's food. Like, here's food on the ground. We just gave you food on the ground. And stuff like, necessarily it can go bad, but it doesn't really get bad, because when stuff rots, then it becomes compost. Or if like fruits and...
It's just a different tool.
And if fruits and things start to rot, then it kind of becomes alcohol. And that's something that you can also use. And it's very weird to think that like the one thing that we need to sustain life on this planet will just randomly fall out of the sky. Like water will just fall out of the sky and make shit grow, and you can drink it and it sustains your life. That's pretty kind of a miracle.
Because there's really, I guess I don't know the periodic table, but we can look up how many liquids are on the periodic table, do you think?
I thought the periodic table is all just...
liquids are a state.
Yeah, a state of being.
Okay.
Solid, liquid, gas.
Okay, yeah.
But then how many liquids in nature can actually sustain life?
Are there any other compounds beside H2O that appear... Oh, no, 3 different states. That's around Earth. 2 elements have been defined: bromine and mercury. Yeah. I mean, we could have mercury falling out of the sky.
Yeah, but that wouldn't sustain life.
Yeah.
And that would just fuck you up, because you get mercury poison, turn into the 10 woodsmen and die.
So there could be like a planet out there that is like exactly like Earth.
Yeah.
Except instead of falling out of the sky, water.
Right.
It's like some other fucking elemental compound that doesn't sustain life.
Yeah.
And then that's
but I mean, it could sustain their life, though.
Oh, that's true. They could be like fucking,
because we're
gelatinous blobs.
Carbon-based life.
I did a project in school. Not a project. It was for summer school.
Yeah.
Actually,
okay.
Where
it was still school.
Yeah, where you had to like, you had to find an article and do a paper on it for that day.
Okay.
And they found an organism, microscopic organism, that survived on anthrax.
Oh, okay.
And so finding that, and so this would have been around 2005 or something.
Okay.
But so finding that organism had to completely redefine, they had to completely change the definition of life.
All right.
Because at that point, all they knew was the shit that was normally on Earth.
Yeah, like
and I think that shit was on Earth. I think it was in California or something.
Yeah, and then a lot of stuff like under the sea, like fissures next to volcanic activity, they're like living on sulfur and stuff like that.
Maybe that was it. But yeah, they found shit that doesn't live on Earth.
I don't know, but it's also kind of weird to think they were carbon-based organisms, which is weird because we breathe in oxygen and then we breathe out carbon.
Yeah.
But yet oxygen, you have oxidation, and that's what makes like apples turn brown, and that's also like, makes us get old and metal rust. Yeah. And so we're slowly like breathing our death.
Whoa, you're fucking blowing my mind here, Dave.
Yeah, that's why we're like, maybe humans are from Mars. Because like we don't really fit on the planet.
I mean, No, we make the planet fit us for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because you think of like a deer running around in the woods. If it's 100 degrees out, the deer's not like, oh, man, I need some air conditioning or some ice water. No, the deer's just like, this is life. But us humans are out there like, we're getting burnt by the sun, and
I think
we need air conditioning, and that's the consciousness.
Yeah, like people lived without air conditioning for a long time.
Yeah.
And without cars,
right?
But as soon as you get something that's like pretty nice, we have Amazon now, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
We can get anything you fucking want, dude.
Yeah,
anything you want.
I'm gonna resist it.
You can get it.
Fuck Jeff
shipped
Bezos.
to your fucking house.
But yeah, it's totally. Yeah, no, I get that.
So yeah, like we are definitely creatures of comfort.
Yeah,
and then we built this whole system of like, boy, I don't have time to go to the grocery store because I work so fucking much because I need money to pay bills.
Yeah.
And so I have to buy my groceries online and get it delivered to my house.
Yeah, some Uber Eats or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's certainly like a vicious cycle at the moment.
Well, that's also, I guess that leads into, what is it? Like, soft times make soft people.
Oh, yeah.
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 Because, my
kid's gonna be soft, and I'm worried about that.
A little bit.
I'm pretty soft.
No, you're not.
I'm pretty soft.
Nah, you're arts and crafts.
Oh, I'm just fat. That's what it is.
This is, but yeah, like if you don't have those hardships to go through, but yeah, you don't want to wish hardships on your next of kin, your progeny.
Yeah. Well, and
so you want to make sure that they're set up to have the best life that they can have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this right now so I don't forget.
Okay.
I met a guy, and he grew up around here, moved away to Arkansas. I think he lived quite a few places.
All right.
But he was most recently living in Arkansas.
Arkansas.
And he Bigfoot guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he says he got some stories. Come on the pod.
All right, that'd be cool. I'm always down.
Yeah. But he was talking to me about growing up, and he's a mechanic.
Yeah.
And he said growing up, like his dad was a huge asshole and beat the fuck out of him for like to like learn how to work on cars and shit.
Right.
And it's like that's a hard time.
Yeah.
And then but he's like really good at it also.
Yeah.
You know, like that hardship made him learn how to work on cars well.
Yeah.
And he's done pretty well for himself since. But it's like finding that line with raising kids, especially now, because it's like, certainly I don't want to traumatize my kid by beating him up.
Right.
But also he needs to learn things. And I guess realistically, I wasn't taught by somebody who was good at teaching.
Okay.
So I'm trying to learn how to teach.
Yeah.
And teach at the same time.
Right. Well, sometimes I feel like our generation might be trying to figure out how to not what's that, the circle, like redo the faults of your adults.
I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I can't.
Yeah, you don't want to make the same mistakes that your parents made.
Yeah.
When they raised you, because you know the things. And technically, I mean, like 9/11 and stuff. Like we there was some shit, but we weren't like going through World War II. We're not going through Vietnam. Like, so like for them to be more like hard nosed and be like, go outside, boom, oh, you scraped your knee, suck it up. But at the same time, we know that when we scraped our knee and we really needed a hug, and they were like, nah, suck it up, fucking rub dirt on it, go for a walk. And you don't want your kids to have that same feeling that you had, so then you kind of like coddle them, but at the same time, you also want them to be strong, independent people. So then there's a line between like coddling and then letting them, give them enough rope so they can fall, you know, and then
keep enough back so that you catch them.
Yeah, and you also don't want to end up like a boomer where you're like, well, I walked to school fucking uphill both ways in the snow. And you're like, yeah, but we have a car now, Mom. We can drive, you know. But at the same time, you don't just want to like spoil them and have them be like super soft, because you don't want a naive person to go out into the world, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, why is my boss yelling at me? Why I'm gonna get fired? Like, and the boss is like, well, you're a loser and you suck. Like, what do you mean? I got participation trophies and my mom thinks I'm cool and I never had to worry about any of that shit. I thought it was all right. But, you know, you have to also have a little bit of reality thrown in there and be like, you gotta, you know, people are gonna be mean to you and you gotta do your thing. And it's hard because that's also a thing where people are gonna be mean and people might pick on you and there might be bullies. And you want to teach them that, but you can't teach them that by being their bully.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, I think there's a lot to be said, especially with, like, the participation trophies I hear a lot of people talking about. I believe in them. I think kids to a certain age should get them.
I think that you can acknowledge somebody trying their hardest and still failing and be like, you did really good. You tried your best. Don't be sad because you're not one. You at least tried. Next time, if you want to be number one, try harder. Maybe, I don't know, play the cello, maybe practice the cello a little bit more, and then you can be first chair. Yeah. I know you didn't get picked for first chair, but you weren't practicing.
Right,
so.
But I think that's not something a 5-year-old needs to learn, you know?
Yeah.
I think you know, a 5-year-old at T-ball is somebody who can get a trophy, learn what getting a reward or an award is like.
Right.
You know, and if that is certainly not every kid that plays T-ball is going to go to the majors.
Right.
All of them are probably just going to try it for maybe a year. Not all of them, but a lot of them are probably just going to try it for a year. Then they'll move to soccer, and then they'll move to but like learning what it's like to be like a quote winner. At a young age, especially if you know maybe that's not the sport you're going to get. Because the kids that want to play baseball or the kids whose dads make them play baseball, they will eventually be to a position where then they have to learn teamwork.
Right.
Because you could be the best. I mean, right now, Stanley Cup playoffs, shout out to hockey.
Yeah.
The best player in the NHL is pretty much hands down. I can't think of his name. Connor McDavid.
Okay, Connor McDavid.
And he's never won a Stanley Cup.
Right.
And he's really good.
Yeah.
But whatever it is about their team, they don't win cups.
Right.
And then there's other teams that have, like, every team's got like a number one player.
Yeah.
But like there's teams that are further down the list, they're number one players, but they have more like, you know, top 50 players or something. So that's what you need to learn when you stop getting participation trophies. It's like you did a good job because you came, you did your best.
Yeah.
And now the bar gets raised because you're in a different level.
Right.
And then now everybody has to do their best to get that.
Yeah, but I mean, at what point, like, when do you start saying that? Because if you're saying that you're good and you're good and you're good, and then they're 12, then they're 16, then they're 18, like, when's the time that you're like, actually, competition gets harder, even if it's like life or like for a job or a promotion or soccer or whatever? Like, at what point is it like, hey, this is when you actually have to apply yourself? You don't just show up and get a trophy.
Well, I don't know what the levels of baseball are. Yeah. But going to your work situation,
right,
or work example, you go to work and you get trained.
Yeah.
You sit there and do nothing.
Right.
You know, a lot of times. Like when we started at the big place, you sat in a room for like a week.
Yeah.
You know? And then you come on and you just sit with somebody else. Like I was in quality and I literally just sat there and watched the guy next to me. I got paid.
Yeah.
Not as much as him.
Yeah.
Because he's in a next level.
Yeah.
But I got a paycheck. It's not like nobody gets a paycheck unless you've been working there for a month.
Yeah, but that's also the thing where it's like, you and me, we're very versatile. Like, we can be a cog in any machine, and we'll be that cog that helps turn it. Like, whether it's like, you know, jobs or like just hanging out with people, and you can be the one that fits in and you can turn the cog, and that's cool. But if you're going to like a job and they're like, hey, we need you to be a cashier. I've never been a cashier, But I am able to learn because I'm smart, I'm cognitive, I can show up, I'll be there on time, and I will be that cog that you need to fill that hole with. That's cool. But then there's a person that's got 2 years of being a cashier. They're going to kind of get it better, and so then there is a level of, you have to have the experience, you have to have the shit behind it
to get the paycheck.
Right, to get the paycheck, or to even get the job. You can't just go. You can't walk into a place and be like, hire me, and they're going to be like, oh, you showed up. Here's your trophy. Here's your job. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, for like a cashier job, maybe.
I mean, maybe. I just use that as an example. That's
like an entry level. Ideally, we would have entry level positions that don't need to support families and can go to teenagers or kids that need to learn from bosses on how to be a boss.
Right. And I guess that's why you have those, and you have those McDonald's jobs and those cashiers and the grocery stores and working at a gas station or whatever.
And in this economy, I understand that some of those have to support families because you got maybe a lot more divorced parents that were a homemaker for a long time and now need to support their family. Or the education system fails people, or even people with addiction problems that need to kind of start over.
Yeah.
And those people deserve a shot, but they're at a higher level.
Yeah, well, that's like a Goodwill or something that is willing to hire those people that need the extra help, but then also, give them a wage that they can live on. But I understand that some of the lower, like walking around a neighborhood with a lawnmower, and you're like, hey, I'll mow your lawn, and they're like, I'll give you $20, and you're not gonna be like, oh man, that takes 2 hours. I actually need like $100, $50 an hour to mow your lawn. So,
well, it's like not every product or, what's the product? But you do things for people. It's like if I think of a product as a physical thing.
Okay.
But whatever it would be called when you actually do things for people, it's not for everybody, right? You might go to the next house and they might say,
yeah, true.
That's called marketing.
That is,
or something.
Sales. Yeah, or like what you're producing might not be for everyone.
Yeah. And you know what? We got kind of cut off there. We're going to try to make it sound as flawless as possible.
Yeah.
But something that you had said, and I don't know if it caught it or not, but made me think of, in higher level sports, they got fucking participation trophies. They got, in the NHL, they have fucking trophies for like the best goalie that didn't win the Stanley Cup, the most points that didn't win. They have participation trophies.
I suppose so.
If you want to take them away, take this fucking shit away, and you only get the Stanley Cup only if you win.
Yeah,
and that's what men do. If that's the way you want to do it, but I don't think that.
Yeah, but I mean, I see that, but it doesn't also relate to everybody gets something for just showing up and being a part of the NFL or the NHL or the WNBA. There are accolades for maybe being the highest scorer, making the most points, being the MVP of that game. But all in all, if you're at the bottom of the tier, you're not going to get the first round draft picks. You're not going to get that bonus for actually winning the championship.
Yeah. But also, it's like, these are companies and they can do whatever they want, really.
Yeah, and the big corporations and stuff, that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
I've been wanting to, so I've been kind of in and out of politics lately, because obviously it's a lot of what's going on right now.
Yeah, and I feel like nowadays you need to stay out of politics. I try not to pay attention to it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but probably the same with your old lady, where they're like on the internet and they see the stuff and then they want to bring it up to you and they're like, what about this? And you have to be like,
I feel like I have to have a defense.
Okay.
Or like, I feel like I have to know about it to be able to.
Right. And I'm always like, well, did you research it? Did you look it up? Or did you just see this thing?
But I try to just like get concepts of going on. Like that dude who was like not the leader of the FBI, but like leader of the defense or something. Okay. Motherfucker's like texting his family and like reporters.
Oh
like,
yeah,
hella...
they would like the group text.
Yeah,
was a reporter.
What the fuck are you doing?
Why are you even texting that shit? That should be like an email or like an actual memo.
Server. Yeah. But anyways, I have been wanting to see, if I'm almost betting that big corporations have to have their finances disclosed or like open. So I think you can see like how much the owner of Walmart makes and shit.
Yeah, I think that's when a company becomes public.
Oh, okay.
When they start selling their stocks on the internet.
So Amazon should be public.
Should be. I mean, if you can buy stocks on Amazon, it should be public, so you should know what, because you have to do research on the company to be able to buy the stocks.
So I wonder if you can go on and be like, how much does this person make? And then like do the math to be like, what if you just gave everybody an extra $1? You know?
Yeah.
And see like how much that would eat into, because people don't need $1 million, or they don't need $1 billion.
Right.
I mean, $1 million is at least like, that's high enough.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole thing back in the early 2000s during George Bush, right before Obama came in, when the housing bubble, when people were getting, they were called ARMs, like adjusted rate mortgages, which means, hey, you can come in at 6%, but we have the right to raise it up to 16%, but you're getting in low. And so you're like, oh, we can buy a house. And they were selling houses to people that maybe couldn't really actually afford houses. And then when that bubble broke and everything happened, and then they were bailing out banks and all these lending corporations and Wall Street and stuff, the government was like, okay, well, we're going to help you out. Here's, I don't know, let me just throw a number, like $5 million. And then the CEO that day is like, or that year is like, oh, I got $1 million bonus. Like, wait, you just needed money from the government and you're still getting $1 million? So that means only $4 million went to your company?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's just crazy. And another anecdote kind of from that is when I worked on the casino, I had this guy, I won't shout him out because...
make up a fake name.
Okay, Bobbert Booberson.
You made up a last name?
I don't know. I gotta throw both in there. But our like CEO, like the head honcho, was gonna come to, because like there's whatever 10, 20 casinos that this corporation owns, and the CEO was actually gonna come visit our little podunk casino in Iowa, and there was a website where you could see what all the CEOs made. And he found her website, printed out her salary, and then made a bunch of copies and then put them all around the break room to let you know that, oh, she's going to come in and be like, keep going, good job. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. And you made what, $3 million last year? And I'm crazy. Over here like barely scraping by.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do a mowing job on the side I do it for a guy that I know really well.
Okay.
And he does it for a rich guy that he knows really well.
All right.
And this guy's got 3 properties and then a house far West End Davenport. It's a mansion, dude.
Yeah.
And then I go to this property that I mow, and it's like 100 acres, and it's got like big tractors and a barn, and not like a barn, but like a brand new steel building.
Okay.
And like a pond.
Yeah.
And like nobody ever goes there.
Right.
But he owns it, and he's got all these fucking taxidermy mounts in there and shit, and it's just like you got 3. This is your worst one,
right?
And you got 2 more plus a house.
Yeah.
It's like, and maybe this is my broke brain thinking.
Yeah.
It's just like if I had one of those,
yeah, I'd
be there all the time.
Yeah.
And I'd do so much more with it, because whenever I go there to mow, and I love doing it. I love doing the job.
Yeah.
Because I love being outside and just doing remedial work, and I get a couple of bucks at the end of the day, and the people I work with are great.
Yeah.
And it's just like beautiful out there. But it's just like I just like look around and I'm like, I would do this and I would do this and I would do this.
Yeah.
But I would be out if I owned a property like that and it was like paid off.
Yeah.
I would be doing stuff to it all the time and I would just be there all the time. I would love it.
Yeah, because no, by any means did I grow up rich or anything, but my stepdad owned a cabin, but it was like not a timeshare, but there was like it was a conglomerate, I guess. There was a bunch of people that owned it all together, and then they would take turns on the weekends and he would do it. But he'd be out there all the time and he was the one mowing and going hunting and stuff like that. And so I could also see, because a lot of the people were because he was a carpenter, he was a trim carpenter, and a lot of those people were like contractors or like subcontractors, so they would like run crews, so they were a little bit more richy, like Bettendorfy, like high, like upper middle class, more than we were, because he was just a carpenter. But he had all these friends, and some of them just had that as a tax write-off, and some of them wouldn't go out there.
That's a good point, tax write-off.
Yeah, and then he would have to like call and be like, "Are you going to be out this weekend?" They're like, "No." And so then he finally stopped.
So did you get like hella way more time there?
Oh yeah,
fuck yeah, dude. That's
yeah. And then sometimes like we would just be out there, and then here comes fucking some Escalades pulling up, and they're like, "Oh, this is our weekend." They're like, "Well, you haven't been here for like a year, but okay, sure, sorry, we'll get out of your way." Yeah, and they had to have like running water and shit, like in the generator, like, and like we just had
running water is pretty nice, but
flushing toilets, because their wives couldn't just go in the woods or on like a little chemical toilet.
It's crazy. We were just talking about AC and cars, and then not only do you need AC and cars, you need them on vacation, and you need the best ones.
It just seems a little bit too much. The aspect of the juxtaposition from us, because there was times when we were just eating like fucking
canned beans and
no, for real. I remember just like baked beans and ketchup and shit like that. But then he also like is in this conglomerate where they're like, "Oh, we own a fucking HVAC shop," and they're like, "Well, you're fucking okay." And then we're just out here like trying to have fun in the woods, and then like, "We need running water, we need AC, we need you guys to chop a bunch of firewood," because sometimes they'd get together and be like, "All right, we're gonna clean, we're gonna paint," and then they would just not show up, and it'd just be me and my stepdad and my mom out there like painting, and they'd just come up for the excess, rip the benefits.
But also, there's something to be said about living your life over theirs. You were able to go and do stuff as a family, and then also, like it sucks to get cut off. But also, you had that time.
Right.
But also you didn't have to spend it with the guys that cut you off.
Right. And we were afforded that opportunity, which is cool to have. I think kind of where I was going with that is,
you had a destination out there.
Well, kind of, because we were talking about like corporations and how the guy you mow for has 3 properties and all that. There is also some reason, like, I get the American dream and like a picket fence, 2-car garage, chicken in every pot, but it seems like nobody finds that like plateau, where you're like, okay, I made, like I said, ballpark, it's say $80,000 a year, and you're able to pay all your bills and go on vacation and live comfortably. If you could just do that until you retire, that'd be great. But a lot of people are like, no, next year I need 90,000, and the year after that I need 100,000. The year after that I need 150,000. Like in the whole like,
and we paid off our little shitty house, so now we can sell that and get a down payment on a brand new house.
Yeah, it's like cars. Like my car's paid off, and I just got the calipers and shit fixed on it. But like, how many people would just be like, "Oh, this is crap. I'm gonna buy a new one."
It was just the calipers and shit, or what?
They said the one was locked up. That's why they had to replace it. And then they upsold me and said, "We have to change both of them because it'll wear real."
Dave, you should have called me, dude.
No, it's fine. I because it was already in the shop. And I was like, "Oh, okay." But I also like,
because you did think it was a bigger job than it was.
Yeah, I thought it was a wheel bearing, and you have to press it out and lift it up and all that shit. But yeah, like, having a car and then fixing it and then just taking care of it and not being like, oh, the paint's messed up or this is a 2010.
Or your bumper is dented to fuck and everybody makes fun of you for it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean like once you pay a car off, you got to go and buy a new one.
Yeah.
And then once that's paid off, you got to go and buy a new one.
Yeah.
And even most people probably don't even pay their cars off before they're getting another car.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of funny. I was talking to, and I am very blessed that those are the people that I also attract, I think, because on the most recent Black Magic TV, I was talking to Tyler and he's like never really owned a brand new car.
Yeah.
He's always, and it helps that he's very mechanically inclined.
Yeah.
And has the ability to take cars into his shop and work on them probably after hours and stuff. But yeah, he like his newest car ever was like a late 90s model.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
And that's that's my vibe too. Like,
yeah,
the older the better a lot of times.
Right. And yeah, because if I can work on it myself, I'd much rather have a car like that than one that's got a bunch of like computers and electronics in it that if it does go bad, you're going to have to replace a microchip or something. If you can just like crank some bolts and rip something out and slap a new one in, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my kid, her second car, she had the funds and the resources to be able just to get a new one. Mm-hmm. And her thought was like, well, because she got a Honda and she's like, it's going to run forever. Mm-hmm. And this will get me through like 10, 15 years. And any problem that it has are the problems that I put on it. Mm-hmm. So I can also see that, like getting a new car like that. I mean, and I was very proud that she was able to do that on her own.
Yeah. I can understand getting a new car, like a brand new car.
Yeah.
But it becomes difficult when it's like 120,000 dually F350.
Yeah.
That you're just driving to your office job and back.
Exactly.
And it's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Like, yeah, if I lived on the side of a mountain or like on a dirt road and I had to have a 4-wheel drive,
I had to haul bales of giant trailers full of hay and shit, cows. I don't know.
I totally get that stuff, but if you don't need it, then why you drive around a Humvee?
Yeah, like
you're never gonna bust through a barricade and like you're just like driving it to work like a status.
You never know when you gotta bust through a fucking barricade.
I don't know. Well, who knows what the world's coming to?
Yeah, I got a bunch of barricades outside of my street.
Yeah,
some of that spring construction popped up.
Yeah, those orange flowers and those caterpillars out there.
Yeah. Caterpillars. That's funny. I found a funny thing.
Yeah.
You know how like Napoleon was hella short?
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, at one time, Napoleon's era, potentially, the French and the English both did like inches and feet, measured things in inches and feet.
Yeah.
But they were different sizes. The French foot was longer than the English foot, I think. Or I guess when I finish this, it may be more so like the inch. But I think maybe both of the Frenches were longer. But so like in French feet, Napoleon was 5'2".
Yeah.
But in English feet, that meant that you're like hella short.
Oh, okay.
So like, and at the time, Napoleon was trying to conquer the fucking world.
Right.
So the English went out and was like, this motherfucker's trying to conquer the world. He's only 5'2", and like hella slandering on him.
Right.
Even though it was just like a miscommunication.
Right. Because I think I've heard that he was actually average size, but they were just trying to tell him he was short.
Yeah. And like the average size of a French person, I didn't look at then, but now I think it's like 5'9".
Okay.
So it could have been 5'6" then. I don't know how that genealogy stuff works.
Huh.
I just thought that was interesting how things are.
Yeah, well, it's all the
everything's really just made up.
The history is written by the winners.
Yeah. Well, it's like everything's made up. If you don't want your fucking kid to get a trophy participation trophy, well, then fucking make him throw it in the trash. You know,
right? And you're the one that actually is the one. Like all that shit comes down to parenting.
Yeah,
and
leadership, just
in general,
worldly leadership.
Yeah, because I mean, even if it's not your kid, you can still be like, "Hey, maybe we don't throw our trash on the ground." And, hey, buddy, you're doing really good with this swing. Yeah,
it's the coach's job to explain why you're getting a participation trophy or not.
Yeah,
and or like why you're losing every game because you're out picking dandelions in the field.
Yeah,
and then the parent to reinforce it. But then also, if the kid doesn't care, if he's not a baseball kid or he's not an artistic kid, then. Like, my kid is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
Oh, he's fucking... You're a kid. I'm sure he's a riot.
But he has, like, no desire for, like, any sort of artistic... Which is funny because, like, my wife owns a shop. You guys
built those and his robot things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We do. I make him do some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a little bit of that.
Yeah. And then, like, his mom owns a tattoo studio.
Yeah.
And it's just like... Man, I really thought it'd be in his blood.
Well, that's also probably a little bit of like pushback.
Yeah.
I mean, when he gets a little older, he might be like, "Oh, arts and crafts." So,
yeah.
Like, yeah.
And now he's talking about welding.
Okay.
Yeah, which I was really impressed when your kid went into the union field.
Yeah.
It's a good move.
Right, and that was just all her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's hope for him yet, huh?
Yeah. I got lots of hope for. You got a good kid.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah. You got a good kid.
Oh, well, thanks. I like her.
That's pretty much all I had.
What is brown and rhymes with Snoop?
Dr. Dre.
God damn it.
That's the only way. That's the only reason I knew it.
All right. Cool.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I know this is not a normal episode, but Sunday after Easter... right before Torque Fest, I appreciate the casualness.
Yeah, and I hope that we enhanced your cup of coffee while you were hanging out, listening to us time traveled into your earballs.
Be good to yourselves.
Yeah, so remember, be kind, rewind.
Wow, that one was a lot of fun.
Yes.